Alright, so cool. The question of the day today. Are they running out of ideas, and what's going to be next after they finish this year pretty much with Super Saiyan 4 Ultra Gogeta? That's all an agenda and there's no proof that he's coming. I'm just saying that to actually just push the agenda. You've probably had the thought come up in your mind at least once. Maybe not this year, maybe last year, or if not last year, definitely this year. What's the next stop for them once they finish with all these hype units? Are they just going to recycle units? And honestly, I can answer that straight away. They already have started it. Let's take the LF Super Saiyan Goku that we got this year. He's actually a pretty phenomenal unit, but instead of having a blue card counter like his transforming LF counterpart, he literally has an ultimate art, and with that being the case, he obviously has a lot more fancier animations. But with Goku, the Nameku, the first Legends Limited Super Saiyan Goku, he's a transformation unit. He has a blue card for his legendary finish, and it's a counter. With the counter, he's able to stop anything coming near him, strikes, blast, ultimates, greens, blues, but he can't stop tackles and tap attacks. And then of course, if you're the last unit left, it triggers the legendary finish. That's just one example, but we've seen it with other cases as well. Let's just take the ultra rarity in entirety. I pretty much just think it's an excuse to recycle units that we already have, but of course ultra rarity units are just way more powerful, valuable than all the other units in the game, so I'm not going to write them off as an excuse. But if we look at Vegito Blue the LF and then we look at Vegito Blue the Ultra, animations are not exactly completely different, but what do you expect, because the source material is pretty much all the same. You can say the same thing about Vegito and Gogeta. I'm talking about Super Vegito and Gogeta Blue. So yeah, recycling is definitely an option. They would make the same thing in a different way and then just make it function slightly different. I'm going to use Ultra Gogeta Blue as an example. With his counter, he gets the Mudadana, but if we take the LF unit, he does it with his green card and it locks you in when you do it with the green card, but with the counter, you can just force a blue card. Similar things, but it's not exactly the same, and it has a different functionality through the green card and the counter. Counters in the same way that Ultra Gogeta Blue has did not exist when the LF Gogeta Blue dropped. So it's a revamp, but not a pure revamp like I mentioned earlier with the Super Saiyan Goku. So you can see they can revamp it in the exact same way and make it a same rarity and value. So Legend Limited Sparking, they can revamp it in a new way, so we can take the Legend Limited and Ultras that we have. They even do revamps for the free-to-plays. They've been dropping a lot of free-to-plays. They'll give them the exact same animations, but mostly the kit will change, because of course at the end of the day, they're not a summonable unit, so they're free. They're gonna have to be worse, because of course if a free unit is gonna be better than a summonable, unlike back in the day, which I wish they would do, that would shake things up quite a bit. Anyways, I don't know how far we are into this video, but you can pretty much assume they are not running out of ideas. Everything I've explained so far in these videos are things that they could do without actually adding anything creative to the game. They would just do the same thing they've been doing for the past 5 years and just recreate it, and we'd all eat it up. Let's be honest, especially if it's the festival and anniversary, we would consume that crap. And that's just how we are as Dragon Ball fans. That's how we are as gacha players. That's the end of it, but they do know that. But of course, there are other things that they could do. Let's just take the simple fact that they've been implementing new mechanics into the game. New mechanics alone are still the same thing as just recycling, but they just sprinkle in the new functionality to make the thing look new. But outside of that, they could, generally speaking, add a whole new value. So again, it's still recycling, but to a higher degree, not just functionality. If I could have an Ultra unit that also has a legendary finish, I think that would be the highest point of the game that I could achieve. Legendary finishes are the most beautiful thing you can get in a battle in Dragon Ball Legends. There's nothing else that tops it. It's supposed to be the pinnacle of finishing a battle, because you get a canon ending, of course ignoring who the opponent is, but you see the animations in accordance to what happened in the original source material, the anime. With that being the case, we have the highest rarity in the game, which is Ultra. Legends Limited is not Ultra. It's almost like a title that is in addition to the fact that the character exists in X rarity. If you go to the settings in Dragon Ball Legends, you can activate Sparkings, but at the same time activate Legends Limited applicable. But you could also activate Ultra, turn off Sparking, and activate Legends Limited applicable. Legend Limited is a value added to the character's already given rarity, similar to how every character in the game can get a Zenkai. So I think pretty much everybody would be willing to see or want to see an Ultra unit that comes with a legendary finish. But I feel like if they just gave it the legendary finish title, it'd be pretty lame. So maybe they should add something different to it. I've mentioned this a lot in the past, but a dramatic finish. But I'm just here expressing my own creativity. But of course the devs probably have a plan for a certain point where they're gonna up the levels. We're getting a lot of summonable Ultras right now, so eventually the summonable Ultras value value is going to decline the same way when Legends Limited released. We used to get one every 3 months or 2 months. They wasn't dropping consistently, but now we get one every single month, which is a guarantee. Ultras are the thing that we don't get consistently. We don't even get all-star banners anymore because of how high the bar has been raised because of ultras. So Legends Limited are like the new low. But with the release of a lot of ultras are going to drop in value. So the question is, what's next? Me personally, I feel like the odds of us getting another rarity is very, very low. We have 4 and it works pretty well in the game. Lowest being heroes, and they pretty much do nothing. Extremes, they can be used sometimes. Sparkings is pretty much just the base level, and then of course ultras being the highest. So if you're asking me personally, I really just think that Legends would stick to increasing the functionalities in the game rather than going a whole supreme way about it and making things so spectacular. Of course, Ultra Legends Limited is still in the air, and I feel like everybody's willing to actually consider that. I also want to point out that I saw a tweet, and I included it in a previous video, where someone referenced the fact that when we first got the Ultra Rarity released, it was around the 1,000-day mark, and we're pretty much closing in on the 2,000-day mark. So with that being the case, would we be seeing a new rarity? Me personally, I doubt it. He ain't lying. But ultra legendary finish, very, very likely. And if we was to close out the year with the fact that we also got the biggest reveal they've ever dropped with Ultra Vegito Blue.
Oh my god, bro, is dick riding all you do? No, I'm saying, you literally got that nigga dick in your mouth right now. I see it. I'm saying the shot was okay. All right.
How are they going to top that? They got to drop something new. I could see that being very plausible, but I'm not going to throw that out there in the air as a fact. It's just something to consider if you are a Dragon Ball Legends player. This could also be a good opportunity for them to start releasing characters to be the pinnacle of the anniversary that are not Fusion Warriors. I mentioned this in a previous video as well. We can have some units that are Fusion Warrior caliber levels when it comes to being the peak of Dragon Ball. Just to name some off the top of my head, Super Saiyan 2 Gohan, I feel in my opinion he's very much on that caliber. Super Saiyan Goku on Namek is very much on that caliber. However, they did drop one recently, but of course this is for the future, so it's very plausible. But we do have a free-to-play one, so it makes me consider whether that's really possible. But that's where the dramatic finishes come in. Ultra MUI Goku, he would be peak. We've already had an LL MUI Goku for the first part of the anniversary, so for him to be a headliner in the festival as the biggest thing would be very, very good. And somebody mentioned Beast Gohan. I wouldn't put Beast Gohan in the pool with those guys, but of course with the new gen kids coming out and he's catering towards them, I wouldn't brush it. I want to also point out that hype is very much subjective, but at the same time you could make it objective by looking at the general perception of the audience. I feel like everybody can objectively say that Fusion Warriors are the most hyped thing just due to the fact that they bring in the most money, and in the series they are the pinnacle of strength because they fuse together the main character and the deuteragonist, Goku being the protagonist, Vegeta being the deuteragonist. That's a very big deal when it comes to defeating any antagonist in any arc respectively. Super Gogeta, Gogeta Blue, Super Vegito, Vegito Blue. Vegito Blue would have boomed Zamasu as well if it wasn't for the plot. Just want you guys to know that. But yeah, I'm not going to drag you around in circles here. I just feel like it's pretty much clear to see that we are very much nowhere near the end of what Legends has to offer. And it's very easy for them to just keep producing things that would grab our attention. And 9 times out of 10, we're going to consume their product. Comment down below what you think about everything I've said, and even give some suggestions about what units you'd want to see in the future that could have some creative twist to them. Press the subscribe button, man. My name's Zakashi, guys. I appreciate you guys for watching the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one, man.